Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Eala crashes out of Wimbledon, loses an opener to defending champ. London, United Kingdom, rising star from the Philippines Alexandra Eala was eliminated in the first round in her debut at Wimbledon on Tuesday, but she gave the defending women's champion Barbara Krejcikova a scare, who had to power back from a set down to beat the Filipina. The Czech was outplayed in the first set, but lost just 3 more games as she completed a 3-6, 6-2, 6-1 win on a baking center court. Two-time Grand Slam champion Krejcikova has endured a difficult time since defeating Italy's Jasmine Paolini in the final last year. The 29-year-old was out of action until May after suffering a back injury and lost in the second round of the recent French Open. Krejcikova pulled out of last week's Eastbourne Open before the quarterfinals with a thigh problem and had played just 6 matches this year before Tuesday's contest against Eala. "I was in a lot of pain in my back, and I didn't really know how my career was going to go," she said. "I'm super happy and super excited that I can be here and that I can play on such a great court." She added, "I was really excited for this day, and before the match, I was really counting every minute to the time when the match is coming up. Then when I walked from the locker room down here in the stands to the ground, it's just very nice and very special, a special moment." Eala, a finalist on the grass at Eastbourne last week, broke Krejcikova twice in the first set to take an early grip on the match, producing a succession of fizzing deep ground strokes. The rusty Krejcikova made 19 unforced errors in an untidy display, struggling to find rhythm with her ball toss. But the 2024 champion quickly gained a foothold in the second set and raced into a 5-0 lead, going on to level the match as she cut her error count drastically. The world number 16 stayed in the groove in the decider, wrapping up the match with a powerful backhand down the line. Eala, ranked 56th in the world, in Eastbourne became the first Filipina to reach a WTA final, and Krejcikova praised her for her stunning display in the first set. "Wow, it's a next generation coming," she said. "She's going to come up, and she's going to be really good in a couple of years." The rain had just stopped. Wimbledon's lush green lawns glistened under the shy English sun, the scent of damp grass rising into the air like incense from a cathedral. As the spectators filed back into the stands, center court stood poised for its next act. A clash of generations, a duel not merely of rackets and reflexes, but of dreams. For 19-year-old Filipina tennis sensation Eala, this match was more than just a first-round bout. It was her Wimbledon debut in the main draw. Her opponent? None other than the reigning champion, the Queen of Grass, with a Grand Slam resume that made her name synonymous with greatness. A giant in both stature and legacy. To most pundits, it was a mismatch. To Alex, it was a moment. Act 1, the arrival. Eala had been here before, not on center court, perhaps, but in the pressure cooker of international tennis. A 2-time junior Grand Slam doubles champion, a steady riser in the WTA ranks, and the pride of Philippine tennis. Her game was crafted with a lefty's elegance and a fighter's grit. Heavy topspin forehands, crafty drop shots, and a mental resilience that belied her age. The Filipino media called her the future. To many in the diaspora, she was already a national treasure. But Wimbledon, oh Wimbledon, is a different beast. It is where tennis myths are made and unmade, where legends stumble on the grass, and rookies rise only to be humbled. Alex arrived with hope, grounded but burning. Her social media posts were characteristically modest, grateful for the opportunity. Yet anyone who knew her fire recognized the hunger behind her quiet tone. Act 2, the clash. The match began under clouds. The defending champion served slicing through the damp air with surgical precision. Ace. Ace. Unreturnable. It was a masterclass in grass court tennis. Alex held her nerve, bouncing on the balls of her feet, eyes fixed like a hawk. She played smart, constructing points with care. Her footwork was crisp. Her passing shots drew gasps. For a moment, a fleeting moment, it looked as if this could be one of those Wimbledon miracles. But champions know how to extinguish sparks. Midway through the first set, at 3-3, the defending champ broke serve, not with brute force, but with experience, wrong-footing Alex on a short slice, then rushing the net with imperial grace. A 6-4 first set felt closer than the scoreline suggested, but it was a reminder. The mountain was steep. In the second set, Alex's game frayed. Her unforced errors crept in like an unwanted drizzle. Her serve lost velocity. And the champ? She smelled blood. A love game. A break. Another ace. 5-1. The inevitable came in the form of a deep cross-court forehand that Alex barely reached. 6-4, 6-1. 1 hour and 11 minutes. And just like that, the dream ended. Act 3, the exit. She walked off center court with her head high, racket tucked under her arm, eyes betraying the swirl of thoughts within. No tantrum. No tears. Just quiet dignity. In the press room afterward, she was asked, "What did you learn from playing a champion?" Alex's reply was both simple and profound. That I still have a long way to go, but also that I belong here. It was a sentence that captured her perfectly. Honest. Grounded. Hopeful. Act 4, beyond the scoreline. For fans, the scoreboard told one story, a straight sets defeat, a routine win for the defending champion. But for those who followed Alex's journey, this match was a milestone. Think about it. A teenager from Manila, trained through scholarships, hardened in ITF tournaments, now standing toe-to-toe with a global icon on the sport's most sacred stage. That's not a loss. That's a statement. Crashes out. The headlines wrote, yes, technically, but some exits are also entrances. This was not a flameout. It was a flare sent into the tennis sky, signaling a star still rising. Act V, reflections from home. Back in the Philippines, the time difference made for late-night viewing. Families, students, former coaches, and fans in Jeepneys tuned in. Bars hosted live screenings. Social media trended with hashtags like hashtag #IlaRonGrass and hashtag Pusoing Pilipinas. Many cried. Some cheered just at seeing her walk into center court, wearing the national colors on her wristband. She may have lost the match, a Manila sports commentator said, but she won hearts again. The Filipina fighting spirit, known as Laban, was on full display. In Alex's quick feet, her fearless returns, her refusal to be intimidated, in her composure after the match, in her acknowledgement of the crowd. She's the first of many, another broadcaster declared. She's lit the torch. Act 6, the road ahead. Eala is 19. She has time. In a sport that now regularly sees players peak in their mid to late 20s, she is still in Act 1 of her story. Grass may not be her best surface, but she adapts quickly, learns fast, and trains like a champion in the making. More importantly, she carries something rare, a sense of purpose beyond personal glory. Her dream is not just to win, but to inspire, to open the doors for future Filipinos and Southeast Asians to believe that center court is not just for others. Already, tennis academies in the Philippines are seeing a surge in sign-ups. Parents point to her and say, "Look, you don't need to be born in Europe or America. You just need heart." Wimbledon may have ended early for Eala, but in another sense, something else began. A shift in perception, a crack in the ceiling, a whisper in the tennis world that says, watch this space. Act 7, a letter to herself. That night, back in her hotel room, Alex opened her journal, something she's kept since she was 11. No fanfare, no post, just ink on paper. Here's how one might imagine that entry went. Dear Alex, you played center court today. You faced a legend. You didn't win, but you didn't fold. You gave it your heart. Remember this day. Remember the weight of the moment, and how you stood tall anyway. The grass will always be tough, but so are you. This is just the beginning. Onward. Love. Alex. Final word. In sports, we often celebrate victory, but sometimes it's the defeats that define the soul, that sharpen the edge, that plant the seeds of greatness. Eala may have exited Wimbledon in the first round, but she entered a new chapter for herself and for every young girl in Southeast Asia who dares to pick up a racket and dream of grass beneath her feet. And that, perhaps, is the truest win of all.